Men and women are different. Men and women do communicate differently. And for many of us in our careers, we constantly heard, treat everybody the same. Back when we were scared to death about what EEO meant and if you'd get sued if you did the wrong thing with certain employees. Well, the fact of the matter is we are different. We're not the same. All of us want to be treated equally when it comes to respect. Men, women, whatever our ethnicity is and all of those types of things. We want to be treated with respect. My question, therefore, given that we are different, my question to the panel is, what are some of the traits that tend to be attributed to females, although some males certainly have these same traits, but what are some of the traits that tend to be female or feminine traits that you believe has made your position stronger and it has moved the organization and your career further? Anyone?
I've come to find that the idea of female intuition is a very real and powerful thing. And it's just been amazing, and in my line of work, and it may be true for others of you, what's important sometimes is what's not being said or what you sense from people that are talking to you, much more important than the words that's actually coming out. And that's just by example, but there are so many times where I can think back through my career where just instinctually I made choices, or I didn't trust what I was hearing, or I questioned, or I was willing to take a risk. And I understand that now to be female intuition, and I think it's very real and very powerful, and I don't ignore it. And even to the point of becoming a mother, because I didn't know what I was doing. They don't send you instruction books as they should, but it really is this, I remember those times in the middle of the night and 2 o'clock in the morning and looking at my son, like, okay, so what are we going to do? Something comes to you, and I have come to find that sometimes I don't know why I'm making decisions. I don't know why I'm moving the way that I am, but I have learned that if I follow that instinct, that it's the right way to go.
I'm going to say multitasking. I don't know a woman, and I think it starts young. I'm not really sure what the gene is. I'm not suggesting that men do not multitask, but I do know that most females have this natural ability to get several things done simultaneously. I also say that our nurturing spirit is very important. I'm a nurturer professionally and personally, and our femininity. I think there was an era where we weren't allowed to be as feminine as we are now. And I think we should embrace that and be okay with it. And I think compassion. We just need to care about mankind, and we need to show that we care.
I would say that I had intuition at the top of mind when you asked that question as well. And I think it's something that goes hand in hand with intuition, and it's very important as you work with people and network with people, which is critical today. And that is that through that intuition, I think women are able to accurately judge the character of other individuals more quickly than men seem to do. And you should listen to that voice. And just be, that tells you when to be cautious and when to be more open and that sort of thing. And I think that's critically important. The other thing is persistence and hard work. And, just sticking in there, which you have to do as a woman and a wife and a mother. And persistence and hard work gets you a lot of places you would not otherwise get to. You have your education and you have your talent, but just sticking in there and getting it done. And I think women are excellent at that. And if we can recognize that in each other, and I will just say this: I was meeting with a group of women recently, and some of you were in that meeting, and I was trying to think of what all women touch. Well, I couldn't list all the things that women touch. In fact, I couldn't list what they didn't touch. So women are so influential over the entire sphere of what we do every day in terms of our work and personal lives and so forth. And we, you know, we exert that influence whether or not we realize we're exerting that influence. So all those things combined, I think, make up women. I think women are great, by the way. And let me just tell you that I didn't always know that, because in the corporate world, I was only surrounded by men. And I say this, and people look at me funny, but I say I discovered women when I was 50. You know, it took me that long to realize. And now I would not take anything for my network of women, acquaintances, and friends, because they are phenomenal people. And we should all be very proud of our gender.
Dr. Green, looked like you were reaching for the mic a moment ago.
Well, I would reinforce the emphasis on the ability to listen and to empathize. And going back to my experience when I was doing arms control work, my age at one level was a negative, but on the other side, it was a real positive, because I discovered whether I was talking with an East German or an Omani, they would let their guard down with me. And being able to have informal conversations about the issues around which we were negotiating actually ended up enabling me to be a really important resource for my negotiating team. And so the ability to empathize, to listen in a way that was perceived as non-threatening in comparison to all of the other men who were members of the delegation, I think was extremely important, and a way in which I could contribute to the work of my negotiating team that was clearly unique.
So one way of looking at that is we as women need to show up and bring all of who we are when we show up in all of those capacities and in all of those ways that we might have particular strengths.